The most common question that I get asked is, Eddie, how did you get to be so cool? The second most common question that I get asked is, Eddie, how do I plan a wild camping trip? Well, it just so happens that in a week or so's time I'm off to the Lake District to do the Newlands Horseshoe. I'm going to throw in a couple of wild camping nights. So in this video I'm going to show you how I plan the very early stages and the route of a trip like this. It's coming up. Hello, I'm Eddie and I'm all about showing you the cheat codes to help you kick the arse out of life. If that appeals to you, please consider hitting the subscribe button so I can feed my two dogs. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos either. In a week's time I'm heading off to the lakes to do the Newlands Horseshoe and I'm so excited I can't begin to tell you. I haven't been wild camping for at least a couple of years now because of one reason or another. So this video is going to be one of a few that I'm going to be doing in relation to this wild camping trip. I'm going to start off by showing you how I plan the route using OS maps. I'll do a follow-up video about the kit I'm going to take and why. I'll do a one on weather. I'll do one or two about the actual trip when I get back, and I'll also do a little video about why I think you really need to do some wild camping. To show you this, I'm going to head over to my iPad and I'm going to access OS Maps. So let's take a look. So here I am on my desktop version of OS Maps on my iPad. If you moved across the right hand side of the screen here, I don't know if you can see my round cursor. This is currently the 1 to 50k map, and this is Keswick, and the Newlands Horseshoe is basically this sort of route here. I don't know if you can see my cursor moving around, but that's basically the Newlands Horseshoe. So from the base of Catbells and back, it's about 12 miles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plot my route. So I'm just going to expand the map so it jumps into 1 to 25k. Head into Keswick, click on routes, create a custom route. The snap feature has been activated. So this is Keswick Main Street here, the centre of Keswick. So I'm just going to click my first point here. And I'm going to head basically west along the Cumbrian Way and then head south. So if I click on the path somewhere here, you can see how the red line is snapped along the path. If I come down to say there, you can see how it's snapped to the path, and I'm going to click again at the base of Catbells. My next stop is going to be on the summit of Catbells, which is about 450 metres, and I'll probably stop here and just have a brew and look at these stunning views of Derwentwater here. You get some cracking views. So there's a better view of the route so far from Keswick. You head west, then south along the Cumbrian Way to the base of Catbells, and now we're up to Catbells. So I'll just expand that again. We're going to be heading up to Maiden Moor, and my first wild camping spot is going to be the top of High Spy. I don't know if you can see, just by the edge of the letter P, there's a tiny little tarn, which I think will be about, I don't know, 20 metres by 20 metres. So that's going to be a valuable water source when I stop for the night, so I can get some drinking water and some water to cook with. So that's my first overnight stop. So you can see on the right hand side that I'll have walked about 6.2 miles at this stage, and that's really quite easy. So now what I plan to do for the second day is rather to head to my second wild camping spot. I'm going to go to Honister Pass, probably mid-morning-ish, and fuel up, get some food, some water and some refreshments, and just while I've got the time, because it's not a big route that I'm doing over 2 or 3 days. So let's continue with the route. So I'm going to take it down to there. Now my choice could be, if I wanted to follow the path, I could head west to Dale Head, but as you can see, I'm roughly at the 500 metre point here, and it's 753 metres at the top of Dale Head. So I don't really want to scale 250 metres of ascent just to come all the way back down to Honister Pass. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the snap feature off, and I'm going to head southwesterly down to this path. So if I choose a point about there, so I've just headed down, I'm going to snap back in and then go to Honister Pass. So at this point we're at the 8 mile point, Like I say, I'm going to have some refreshments and some food on the second morning, and then when I finish there, I'm going to head back up to Dale Head. That's going to be a bit of a climb. We're then going to head westish to this point here along Hines Carth Edge. So my consideration for my second wild camping spot is a water source. Now you can see, because we're going to be heading north along this path, there isn't a great deal of water, but I did spot here at this trig point here at 529 metres. I don't know if you can see, I'm hoping that's a tiny tarn there. So if I click to there, that at the moment is where my second wild camping spot's going to be. If for any reason the map's inaccurate or the water's just not there, then I've got no choice really to either camp somewhere else where I might try and follow one of these gullies and see if there's a water source, or head on further down, but I think I should be okay. So then we'll come down High Crags, down Scope End to a roundabout here, and then we're going to traverse back south along here, and we're going to head to Little Town, because at Little Town there's a little cafe where I'm going to get some more food and hopefully some ice cream. From there I want to come along this path here, Skeg Hill, back to the base of Cat Bells, and then we're just basically going to head back to Keswick. So that whole trip you can see there, so that's plotted out, and it suggests it's going to be just short of 18 miles for the whole trip. So like I say, over 3 days walking, that's not a challenge whatsoever. And I'm doing 2 wild camping nights because, you know, like I said, I haven't been wild camping for a while, but I'm also going to be doing lots of filming hopefully, so it's going to be a slow walk. I won't be pushing myself. The next stage we're going to do is save that. We're going to give it a route name, and I'll call it Newlands Horseshoe, July 21. So what that's done now, that's saved this to my OS Maps app. If I open my OS Maps, routes, here's the Newlands Horseshoe, July 21, and there we have it. From Keswick, heading south to Honister Pass, back up to Dale Head, and back north all the way to Keswick. It's going to be a cracking walk. Hopefully the weather will be fine. The only reason I won't do this trip is if the weather is bad. But other than that, I've got the kit and I'm really looking forward to it. Now that I've planned that route, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to get my marker pen here so I can just show you the salient points. So Cat Bells there. For the first day we'll stop and have a brew. High Spy is going to be first wild camping spot. The next morning, once I've packed up, I'm going to head down to Honister Pass where there's a cafe and I'm going to have some food and drinks. Then I'm going to head north Dale Head and then on to High Crags and have my second wild camping spot there, and head back down the following morning to Little Town where there's a cafe, and then back to Keswick. So basically that's it. Like I say, the good thing about this is that this is on my OS Maps app on my iPad, but synchronises with my phone. So when I get there, I mean, although I have done the route before a few years ago, and I'm very familiar with the Fells of the Lakes, I could, if I wanted to, I could follow that route on my iPhone for navigation purposes. However, you shouldn't entirely rely on digital software for navigation, although it is excellent. Something might happen to your phone, for it, etc. Might get wet, or you might run out of battery or whatever. So you should always be able to use a map and compass, and I always take a map and compass with me. But unlike a few years ago where that was the primary source of navigation, for me now personally, that's my secondary. It's me backup. My primary use of navigation is through digital mapping software because it's just so accurate and so easy to use. So that's it. That's basically how I plan the early stages of a wild camping trip using OS Maps. If you've got any suggestions or comments about how you plan a wild camping trip, or if you picked up on anything that might make my life a bit easier, leave it in the comments below. So that's it. Until next time, where I'm going to do a video about the kit I'll be taking on this trip. So until then, catch you later.